Well, retailing in the 21st century is no picnic, especially in the era of the internet and Walmart. It's tough to be a small lifestyle specialty retailer. That's why today's guest is so interesting. His name is Russ Dobb. We're here in West Omaha, and he's the manager and owner of Rockbrook Village. Now, that consists of 60 small, independent, family-owned lifestyle retailers, all specialty shops in their own right. And Russ has been doing this for 20 or 30 years. He has a lot of great things to share with us. Thanks for being on NxBizSuccess.
Enjoyed having you.
Appreciate you having us here. Tell us a little bit about Rockbrook. This is a unique concept. There's no chains here. Tell us about what's the inspiration behind this particular mall, and what can we learn from you in that regard?
Well, the model here is one that it occupies about 16 acres. It's got 17 buildings. And it tries to set up a village. Now, it's not unlike what you would find in a smaller town, a town square or a small market. It does not have the big national box merchants. These are specialty merchants that have all identified a niche or a type of a way to compete, and then have tried to set up a real estate model where it works inside of a small village type array of buildings.
Right. Now, Russ, let me ask you a quick question. Obviously, we're out here in the upper Midwest. There's many small towns, and they have kind of a village vibe as well. What can they learn? You've done this 30 years. Obviously, retailers do fail, and some succeed. They come and go. What lessons can you pass along to a small town that's trying to establish a commercial village environment?
I think if you do the same thing this property did, which is take a very careful look at your city and the demographics of the people that are there and what they need. If you take that model and then you drop it down, and whether it's a town square or Rockbrook Village, what you find is that there are niches that national merchants, national chains cannot compete in. Many times they're very intense service-related businesses, or that require very close personal relationships with customers.
Okay,
but
all right.
when you pick those out and then you bring them down, what you find is that the small specialty merchant can actually beat the big guy, because the big guy cannot do that.
You know, that is such optimistic advice, because there are so many retailers I know that are struggling out there. They're trying to figure out, how do we reconfigure our existing platform, business model, as you say. And you know, I know there's going to be some skepticism. Well, we need to do a better job with service. We need to more sharply focus our niche. Can you give us even more specific suggestions about how to maybe revitalize an existing retail store that's not doing well?
What you want to try to do is, if that person has the skill to study and understand and deal with finances and be hardworking every day, what he can do is he can expand his model. If his model is fundamentally good, he can get on the internet, he can become a consultant, he can provide his products you know, through mail order. We have a business here that mail orders to roughly 10 states.
A retailer?
A retailer, a small independent retailer.
Wow.
So you develop secondary sources of revenue, and in many cases you cooperate with other merchants that can actually market your goods too. So we have a merchant here in Rockbrook that sells her products in Kearney.
Wow.
So what you look at is causing that person who has the ethic and he understands the concept, take it from a smaller version and spread it out. Get 2 or 3 other ways that you're going to make money with it.
All right. Do most people in this day and age with the internet, are the retailers putting a lot of attention onto the internet? Are they kind of shifting their growth plans based upon internet sales, or are they just using it to augment their core business?
No, I think they're really concentrating. The good merchants, that have a good idea, a good product, internet is a big part of their business. And another part of the internet you got to remember is that if you've got a product now today and you're faced with putting that product at a discount on sale, you can actually go back on eBay or Yahoo and actually market that product at a discount, but in a competitive way. So they use the internet to sell products, but they also use it to move their inventory when they have to turn it over for the next season's buy.
Russ, when people come to you and they say, you know, I rented a bay from you 2 or 3 years ago and we're not doing well right now, do you typically renegotiate terms, or do you give them very pointed advice, or just say, hey, you're on your own? Or how does somebody pull out a business that's just not making it like they should be?
Well, what I do is I sit my staff down. I have a marketing person on my staff. I sit down. I usually want to sit down and talk to their accountant, I look at their numbers, I try to see if they have a sense for where it went wrong or what's weak, and then you sit down and try to work that out. Generally speaking, I would not say that revitalizing an average business is connected to how much rent they pay.
Okay.
It's usually failing many times fundamentally because they're not marketing correctly, or they're not working hard enough. There's maybe a family crisis. There's something else more fundamental than a light item. Now, they may have bought too much at market. They may have not advertised, as I said. They may have got too much staff.
Right.
You know, with a small merchant, you have to work it. And if your vision is that you're going to hire everybody to do everything, you're not going to preserve your profit.
You know, a lot of merchants will move into a strip mall or a large mall, a village mall like this, and think that the mall manager is going to be mostly responsible for driving customer traffic.
Right.
And then you talk to the mall manager and their attitude is, no, that's largely their responsibility to advertise and promote and have events and do this kind of thing. What is the bottom line in terms of driving customer traffic to a store in a mall environment? Who's supposed to do it and how good is it supposed to work?
Well, it's a number of different things. Your merchant is your prime driver through marketing and through product and their own personal relationships and their networking. That's the prime driver. You mate that up with other things. They should locate next to people or in an environment where the collage of merchants actually help them get more customers.
Okay, all right. So not have a silo mentality. Right. They're part of a larger system.
Locate next to people where they can cooperate with you or bring you advantage. Another major part of it is true that generally real estate developers, especially in the strip malls in the smaller towns, they're not actively involved in marketing, but you can engage that owner and have them do things. Many times it takes individual merchants to have the grit to do some work and do some planning, but that owner will participate in marketing. He helps bring people to the site as well. It's not his primary job, he runs the real estate, but a good real estate operator does help these merchants market.
All right, that is enormous insight coming from Russ Daub out here at Rockbrook Village in West Omaha, Nebraska. Great insight right here on NxBizSuccess. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're going to be a retailer, make sure you take heed. These are the tips that will determine success and failure in relatively short term. My name is Lynn Hinderrocker. Keep on going and keep on growing.